Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is alk.guidance, and thanks to all the new subscribers. This is going to be a reading for those that are starting a new cycle. I was just shuffling my cards and I had the Fool coming out of two decks, and then there was a storyline about somebody like really leaving behind their past relationship. Like, you're just done crying about it, you're done feeling anything less than what you are, and you know that you are a star in your own right. Like, you know where you're going, you have a vision, you know that these are just like passing emotions, and I wanted to do a reading on that energy. So after shuffling my cards, I watched this video on well, it's this form of Shiva I have right here, which is hard to see, but it's the dancing Shiva with the fire ring, Nataraja Shiva. And he is, so I've never realized and noticed, but this Shiva is literally standing on something. It's a demon, a dwarf demon, which his name translates to epilepsy, but he's also associated with arrogance. And let's just say that if there weren't these demons in your life, the eternal dance would stop, right? The spiritual war has to be here so we can differentiate the light, right? There always has to be yin to yang to find balance, and so on and so forth. And because there's a lot of this, not quite duality energy, but it's, you know, Apasmara is the name of this dwarf demon. And well, the story goes that there were these men praying, you know, these rishis, these yeah, I think they're called rishis. They're like praying men, and they were living in these forests of, I don't know which tree, something on D. It sounded to me like baobab, but it's not, that's in Africa. So there's a D, da something, DA something. So they were living in these forests, and they had, these priests had a lot of arrogance and a lot of, you know, not giving it to God and not giving the grace to the universe, right? So when Shiva showed up in his beggar form, before he turned into this form, he showed up in the forest, and everybody kind of stopped and stared, especially the ladies, but it wasn't out of desire. It's the presence that you have, right? So you're the Shiva in this story, and you show up in this forest of these praying men that think they're all that, right? It could be cults, families, and you name it, right? Translate it how it fits your story. So these rishis, they summoned all these with ritual, right? They didn't fight with hands, they fought with ritual. So there's this connotation of spiritual war, right? And the rishis sent a skull and a drum and, you know, an axe and a bunch of different things. They threw at the begging form of Shiva, which he was just covered in ash and, you know, not exerting any type of power. And that's you, collective. You are not here to show what you can do, right? You're just doing it if it's needed to you know, set things in their place. So the rishis cast all these items at Shiva, and each and every one he turned into something, right? He turned the skull into a cup, he turned the drum into a creation or destruction tool. Like, he, as you did, turned 444 on the timer, you turned and he turned these items into power tools, pretty much, right? And the rishis didn't, like, they went all out, and their final tactic to defeat this begging poor man that just didn't fight at all, just came and took the space up, right? And every woman stopped what they were doing and observed him in his presence, right? So Shiva had the power of presence. So the rishis summoned this dwarf called Apasmara. I wrote it down because I mistake it with another Hindu word that starts the same. So Apasmara is this demon that is just, you know, he will remind you of many of these horrible ass people that you've dealt with. So what Shiva does is he steps on the demon's root chakra, right? And when the consciousness steps on somebody's, or God steps on somebody's root chakra, it's like what God did for you collective is they have stepped on these narcissists and motherfuckers' backs on their base chakra, which is below the spine, right? It's the Muladhara, it's the red one. And Shiva stepped on Apasmara's root chakra, disabling all of his other chakras. And that's the power that you have collective. Because with the power of presence, you don't have to speak, exert your forces and fight physically. You just exist and, you know, cast these spells away as they come and turn them and transmute them into something beautiful and something meaningful and something useful, right? So as the rishis were casting all these items, Shiva had to kind of create a bunch of arms to catch all these items so he can wield creation and destruction, and the ring of fire formed behind him, but that was not an external visual fire, it was an internal ring of fire, right? Internal. So that's you collective, that's your eternal fire inside of you, your flame that gives you this presence, right? So I love this story, and it was explained so much more concise than I can. But what I wanted to say was the demon is still alive. Like if I showed you, I'll show you. I hope you'll be able to see, but on the base of this statue there's a creature, and I never noticed that. And Shiva started dancing. So he stepped on the demon's root chakra and started dancing. So he pointed his foot, he pointed his foot or moved his foot to show that he will dance. Like, that's you collective. Let's dance. Wanna salsa? Takes two to fucking tango, yo. 8-8 was on the timer. So Shiva, like, you know, lifted his leg and pointed with one of his arms towards the leg, right? You can see the leg and the arm pointing at it. And he just started dancing on the demons. And that's you collective. We're all dancing on these demons, right? And what's even more interesting to me is that this Apasmara, right? The creature on the bottom, I don't know if you can see, but his eyes are open and he's still alive. So it's about, you know, if we killed the Antichrist, right? There would, the balance between light and dark would cease to exist. There would just be, I don't know, a collapse of universe, right? It's as if everybody was the same. So the meaning behind this story is, no matter what life casts at you, no matter, even if the people that are working against you and the forces that are working against you are sending you these demons that you have to deal with and dance on. You're just this Shiva that doesn't give a fuck, right? So because the rishis, the praying men of the forest, didn't recognize the fact that they never gave glory to God, right? With one of his Shiva's hands in this Nataraja form is that he does a mudra that actually points to the sky, and it's about reminding them of the creator, right? Of the eternal connection to the universal forces, which means no matter what life casts at you, you're able to dance on these demons. But the demon has to stay alive, yet because the demon's being stood on his base chakra, he cannot go anywhere. So you have paralyzed your enemies, collective. And I thought that was such a profound message for the collective, because you remember, if you're an OG, you remember my statues broke. My Krishna and my Lyran friend, well, they crashed and burned. But I bought myself a new gift, and I wanted a Shiva statue, and I got this for like €6, and it's actual brass from India, and it kind of moves, but not really. But it's just, I've seen these before in real life, but I've never looked at the base of what Shiva was standing on. So it's not about, of course it's about the internal fire that, moves the things along, but it's about standing on these demons and disabling them. So whatever disabling your enemies means to you, you're doing it very well. You are being liberated by crows with each sword pulling out, meaning with every knowledge that you learn, like any wisdom that you come up with, any connection that you make is actually one of these swords, the rusty swords being pulled out. So collective, in this new cycle, you're definitely expanding your consciousness a lot more towards the meaning of it all, right? So instead of self-victimization, you're going towards, okay, yes, I am the one that all these people didn't recognize because I was a hidden one by God, right? Therefore, people had to, I get distracted because there are it's like looking at the Matrix. There are 3 guys looking over a balcony with the same exact distance between them. And they feel to me like, now that the bird is flying above it, they're like on the top floor. So you do have this great vision, but I feel like these are a representation of your ancestors having that higher perspective and communicating it to you and observing. So they are now stepping back because you have taken over you got this now, right? You now understand that these things had to happen the way that they had to happen. It was for you to dance on these demons, not the other way around. It wasn't about the attack. It wasn't about the spell work. It wasn't about them trying anything, because, well, the Rishi's excuse was they, I don't know, was it they never seen Shiva before, or like God incarnated, right? And I'm not here to like hype you up with, your hype up your spiritual narcissism with godlike qualities. I'm just saying that it's about the recognition of these godlike qualities that you have, which is your presence, your undoing, right? You don't do things to the extent where you would exert yourself in any way. And that has helped you enormously, because what it does is people always cast at you their, magic and spells and words, they can lie about you in that spell work. So because you can transmute all of these things, and I saw 144 on the timer, because you are a chosen one, a star seed, a light worker, somebody that understands what we're fighting here against, is also why you are hearing this message, right? Because what's the new cycle bringing? I just wrote a little bullet notes here for a change. So beginning a new cycle, clearing out heartbreak, becoming a star in your own right. Yes, definitely. Because clearing out heartbreak is also these first 3 swords, right? The first sarcophagus, yeah, the first mummy chamber has 3 swords, which is heartbreak. And then there's 4. Wait, I've never looked at this well. Interesting, guys. I've never looked at this card so intentively. But the final sword, the 8th sword, so there's 3 being pulled out. That's the heartbreak clearing. There's 4, kind of like 4 of wands on each, like 2 on each side, which gives me this portal energy, right? This gate that you're walking through. And then there's 1, and I don't know what that's it looks like somebody took a dolphin and put an alligator mouth on them. So I don't know what type of whale fish that is, but let's say it's a dolphin with crocodile teeth. It's gonna be hard for you to see, but it's here in the back. I don't know, sorry for my ring light. It's a weird fish. So you don't have to show your teeth, right? Because you're this happy-go-lucky energy, you're this dolphin energy, but the deities that are helping you are showing teeth instead of you. You don't have to move or budge or do anything, and you're going towards the 10 of Cups, the World, the Lovers, and the 6 of Swords. Sorry guys, there's just so much going in and out of my energetic body. So yeah, the 10 of Cups, the World, the Lovers, and the 6 of Swords, right? Only the best for you. Because you're the type of person that causes other people cognitive dissonance. And you also feel people, you make people feel split up, like in their consciousness, like you're so outer-worldly after certain realizations and work that you've done on yourself, that you literally come up to a person, 18, and you split them like just apart, and they're just naked in front of you to their skulls. Like you see each and every negative entity that is attached to the people around you, and you just feel the ether when you walk into a room, like you just know. So yeah, let's just take one from each deck. We'll try not to do this for too long. I always say that, and I go on for an hour. Am I right? We have so much to talk about, collective. There's this new energy coming in, and yeah, side quest, side message. I just got a call before I started filming from one of my OGs. Shout out Johnny. And he was like, hey, the castle in the town is on fire. And I'm like, okay, like, I'll look. And I can't see, like, I have to step on my couch and be like, and I see just the top of one of the towers. But earlier I was checking flight radar because there was I don't know, I'm very superstitious. So I noticed they were flying from one town towards my town and over another lake, and they were actually putting out the fire. So yeah, we have, oh my god, the Four of Wands, the Six of Pentacles, the Temperance, the Lovers, the Empress on the bottom of the deck. Where does it get better than here, right? This is a place to be. So the fires have been put out successfully, right? The kingdom has started literally burning as I was learning. So that's what 2020 on the timer. You got 2020 vision, collective, and you're just like me, right? Because we are like two peas in a pod. If you resonate with this message, your energy work is, as soon as you start meditating or channeling or transmuting or just doing your thing with your presence, just with your being, there's sirens going off, there's motorcycles going off, there's castles burning. And what I'm getting from this castle burning is actually you have burned, chills down my legs, and my belly is kind of under stress. So yeah, you've burned the ancestral lineage and healed it, right? So it's like when they burn grass fields to make it come alive even more. It's like these processes, these alchemical processes have to go through these motions, right? So sometimes to whoosh up the energy, we have to put it on fire. And that's what you've done. And even though you've turned on the internal fire, the internal flame, you know, your soul heart light, your trajectory of path, or if you have grabbed an instrument and started exploring the frequencies or whatever, however you alchemize, right? It's about taking everything that life throws at you. And I just saw lemons, like, you know that saying, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. But I saw somebody, like, you know, throwing lemons at you. Like, that's how life has treated you. But because of that treatment, 22 on the timer, because of that treatment, your vessel has become that of gentle force. You are a giant in your own right. You are a dragon in your own right. You are the emperor, the empress, you know, you are divinity at the end of the day. 22:44 on the timer. So even though the empire, let's say the castle in my town, was reigned by, you know, the same king as in the Nataraja story, and we didn't mention the king, but it's the same demonic, arrogant, narcissistic, not thinking about the people, but thinking about, you know, monetary gain or reigning or endorsing power, like enforcing power, right? And the kingdom has burned, and that was great confirmation. Like, I wouldn't know, probably I would have filmed and we wouldn't insert this story, but gladly Johnny called us and he was like, yo, did you know? And I'm like, I did not, but I had a sense to look up, why are these weird planes flying above us? So yeah, having that higher perspective from your spirit guides is also what kept you on this journey for so long. And whatever you've been doing it for adding onto the love frequency, onto the healing frequency, not on the destructive empire type of way of being, right? So it's the same as the Pharaoh in the Bible and so on and so forth. It's about the spiritual war is always in the universe, right? Even in other planetary systems, they have their own light versus dark balances. It's like Star Wars, pretty much, right? Everybody, there's a bunch of these stupid stormtroopers joining the dark forces, like the dark side, and you know. But there's you, the Jedi Master, right? And I'm like, Yoda here, right? Don't mind me. Don't kill the messenger. But you're the Jedi Master. You are able to defeat Darth Vader. But it doesn't matter, because there are always these cosmic balances. Whether you look at Bible, the Torah, the Quran, the life around you, the Hindu knowledge, Yoruba knowledge, there's always coming back. It's always about coming back to giving grace to God, right? Whichever spiritual practice, religion you traverse, it's about understanding that no matter your power, it was granted by God. No matter the amount of rituals that these demons do, God will have the final say in who has the most power and what is defined as power. And the power that you carry, collective, is giving me like crown chills and face chills, which rarely happens. So you know, the scales are being balanced. The angels have come in and have made the choice that you're the Empress and the Magician. You're the Queen of Wands. So you're super confident about your powers, but you're not ever ungrateful for anything. You don't take your path for granted, and you know you have earned these stripes. So there's zero energy of any type of spiritual narcissism here, or egotism, anything like that, because those hide in the Apasmara demon, right? And you are Nataraja Shiva that showed up as beggar, in beggar form. So yeah, I'm recalling the full story now. The first thing they cast out of the fire by the rishis, by the ritual fire, was a tiger. And Shiva took the tiger by its face and like pulled it out of his skin off and made himself a robe to not be looking like a beggar, right? He had clothes now. The rishis cast a snake from the fire, and it comes to his throat and almost bites him. And he puts her around his neck. That's why you see Shiva in those tiger outfits with the snake around his neck. His hair matted, right? His hair just unkempt. But it's about people, you know, judging other people by their covers. Like, you may underestimate my power just because I weigh fucking 50 kilos. Doesn't mean I won't choke out a bitch, right? So it's like that, right? You have hidden powers that don't need to be expressed at all. You are standing in presence and you are instantly redirecting the energy to not have that potent negative alchemical power. And that's where you come in as the transmutation station. That's how you know you are a transmuter, an alchemizer, and an active one. So because the bottom energy of this deck is pretty much comes down to the Empress and the Magician, which is, the Magician is kind of like Shiva in these cards. And my phone got dark again. That's weird. So if we break apart tarot, right, it's the Fool is the Big Bang, let's say. It's the new beginning. It's the new expansion. It's going out into the world, you know, just clueless to it all. We're going on a journey, guys. And we went. And then first thing that happened was consciousness, right? Right after the big expansion, 29 on the timer. Right after the big expansion, first thing, if we can call it a thing, was consciousness and gliding through space, you know, in the form of minerals and light and energy and momentum. And I'm getting this imagery of you never stop. Like, you could have quit so many times, but you never stop because only the dead fish swim with the current type of thing. Why is my phone getting dark? And yeah, there's always these shadows being cast upon your path, right? Making you stop and wonder and kind of, you know, derail you a bit or shake you up. And oh, it's a bumpy ride, but have no fear, because you have the embodiment of the Empress. You are, no matter your gender, you are a divine feminine, a divine masculine. And also with the Magician coming out, you are the pure consciousness behind it. You are so connected that all of these gods and goddesses, like, I'm speaking about semi-gods, not the Most High, but, you know, even Shiva pointed to the Most High with a mudra, right? And he's considered a god, pretty much. So, you know, we are breaking a bunch of barriers here when it comes to these soul code hackings and transmutation of energy, and blocking 3113, blocking attacks and blocking karmic, like severing karmic cords. There's so much we had to do that made us not focus on what's important. And what's important is understanding that the balance of the universe always has to exist, right? It's present in your Six of Pentacles on the bottom of this deck, that matches with the Four of Wands, that kind of match with what I was saying before, right? So I don't know if you can see, there are these two here and two here, rusty swords, and it reminded me of the Four of Wands gate portal. So you're definitely going through a mind uplift, higher consciousness portal, crown opening portal, as well as your passion portal. So you are connected base to crown. I don't know why, I just wanted to stretch like this. And the Mayfly just landed. Mayfly could have a spiritual significance for you on your path. It had for me last year, this time, literally, very important. And they even sacrificed themselves in my flames when I had candles burning at night. And it's weird because now I don't have a it's there. It's 1 p.m. and the spirit of the Mayfly already wants to come in, right? And okay, let's talk about spirit animals. Today I woke up and I guess my mom left in a rush. So she leaves in the mid-morning, right? A bit later. And my routine is, you know, going to the bathroom first and making myself a coffee and having my tarot. So I go to the kitchen and I just start carrying like dirty dishes out of my room, because that's one of my bad habits. I was made to live with a dishwasher but never had the chance to. So I hate washing dishes. I love being in water like forever, for hours, but washing dishes is one of my pet peeves in human life, literally. So I went into the kitchen and I started, like, you know, putting things on the counter that I have to wash later. This stagnant energy, right? And I noticed that my mom forgot the stove. It was on. It's an electric stove and it was on too, which is, you know, not spending too much energy, and she just probably left. So I guess maybe she moved something that was metal over it and it maybe turned on, or forgot to turn it off after making coffee. And as I was like, and thinking about how should I word this to my mother, like, I know this never happens, but I'm already having conversation with people before I have conversation with people. So I'm saying that I was stuck in my own head, right? And then I looked up and I noticed there was, I shit you not, this big of a hornet in the kitchen with me. Because my mom also leaves the windows open, but now that it's super warm outside, you know, all these critters are flying around in the airspace, hunting. So because our apartment is on a corner, when we have open windows, a lot of times the physics of the aerodynamics kind of whoosh them in rather than help them go around or over, right? Because we're also on the top floor. So they come in and he was just chilling, guys. But I was like, let me say this. Hornets used to be, and probably still are, my only fear. Like, I don't like anything that buzzes and flies into my face anywhere. Well, at least like 3 feet. More. 3 meters. So I was like, what are we gonna do, buddy? I don't want to kill you. Like, I know they're useful. Like, they're not like wasps. They're not like cunts, right? They're actually here to balance. Hornets are here to balance the natural state of other less important animals, and it's about this, what's the word, symbiotics, right? It's about limbing. Oh my god, is somebody limping? Does somebody have like a weird walk right now? Did you break a leg? I'm sorry. I'm sending you healing. May your leg heal. Is somebody limping here? Please put it in the comments, because that was weird. But there's something going on with limbs. It could be your arms as well. Maybe you hurt your arms or your legs. But yeah, I was watching this biggest fear, right? And it was right there, guys. So how I found him, I would usually run the fuck off screaming, but I was trying to pull up the these, right, the nut curtains. So because my mom always puts them up to where she can see through the window, but she's like quite smaller than me, like she's up to here, I have to pull them up a little bit because my OCD gets kind of crazy and it pisses me the fuck off. But I haven't mentioned it to her yet because it's her routine. She's a Cancer. We'll leave her be, okay? We'll leave her be. She's ascendant in Virgo. You guys will know what that means. Sun in Cancer, ascendant in Virgo, and a bunch of Leo. So I was, you know, I noticed him and I was like, took 3 to 4 steps back from this fear, right? But because I'm also a transmutation station like you guys, I was like, I started talking to him, right? Because the other day, I don't know if it was the same hornet, but the same size hornet came inside my room. And I was standing by the door and I was like, hey buddy, just go out. Like, this is not your place to stay, just go out, right? And he went out. So I tried talking to this hornet as well, because I was like, I'm not here to fight. I'm Shiva in beggar form. Like, I beg of you to not. This is not Shiva in beggar form. This is after they tried him, okay? And I was like, I'm not here, hornet, to mess up your day or kill you. And I saw him, because when you pull on these, they kind of turn. They tilt, right? So when you pull them up, they tilt one side, and you take them down, they tilt the other side, so you can regulate the sunlight, right? So how I left it was I just opened them up and he was there, like, too big for my morning routine. And then I went close because I saw him. He was like climbing each and every one of these one by one, and he couldn't get out. And I was like, I'm just gonna come close because I see that he's not trying to fly, and the buzzing sound is what triggers my trauma, right? So he was pretty chill, like he didn't make any sound. He was just trying to hornet his way out of the fuckery that he got himself into, right? Fucking dusty ass windows. So I opened the window next to it, and I opened it like this, not like this. Europeans, you know. So I didn't put it on kip, I put it like, I opened the window. But because it's super windy right now, because of geoengineering and the war and everything, the window, I heard it like close and, you know, not staying open. So what I did was I had to go back. I had to calm myself down, reapproach the hornet with a different tactic, right? I had to reapproach my demons, my fears with a different tactic. So what I usually do with hornets is I keep a large hairspray on hand in my room, usually, not this year. And I just, you know, spray them so they fall down because their wings cannot move, and then I just scoop them up and throw them out the window. And I stopped doing that because I still feel like it's just, you know, it's not okay, but it was me conquering the fear back then. It was me standing up and fighting against this fear, which is, you know, he just came in like, this building is not supposed to be here by nature, right? This concrete building. So, you know, in morality, we've evolved, right? Take it however this resonates, right? So I had to return to the window to put the window back on kip so it would stay open but just tilted. And I opened the other one and put it like slowly so I wouldn't disturb the hornet. It's a huge window, so I had to like open it and move the lamp that is in the kitchen, like in the dining area, and like get it all open so when he does find his way towards the edge and, you know, is able to fly out, because on the top he was too fat to get out. Junkie boy. And the next, I went to check by intuition in like 10 minutes maybe afterwards, and I just listened if he's anywhere, and I looked everywhere and he was gone. And I closed the windows, and, you know, take it as it resonates, but I feel like this is a storyline of you, collective, and me dealing with all of these apasmara demons, right? So why is apasmara the demon of epilepsy, you may have asked? It's because in epilepsy you don't remember the attack, right? So let's pretend that epilepsy is a demon that attacks you, right? It's a creature, it's a dwarf that attacks you, and it's a raging dwarf, and you start, you know, shaking because it's a raging dwarf inside of you, and you fall and you don't remember the episode, right? So you could, collective, be going through this energy of feeling like, you know, because of these crown attacks and base chakra attacks, like people have tried to stand on your root chakra, but you prove to them without needing to prove anything to anybody, just by presence and or by silence and removing yourself. Whatever you did made you shift positions to where you stand on the back of the demon, right? You, 43 on a timer, you are the one that is in control of your fears, your demons, your people that you let close. And well, what's coming towards you is even more higher, more expanded consciousness energy, because you are understanding that you have transmuted from being this, what everybody thought was a beggar, towards, you know, well, not just understanding that you are the star. I noticed the clock and decided that we will just stay with the two decks, but I stopped shuffling, and the star and the justice were on the bottom, and then Queen of Pentacles and Queen of Cups, Eight of Pentacles. Your dedication towards who you are, 4444, And you understanding that no matter how hidden you had to be, no matter how misunderstood or misguided, or, you know, however you had to feel through your journey, it was all because they've never seen or experienced such an embodiment of God himself as when they met you. And that's so powerful. I'm like, just, my crown is tingly. Yeah. The long-awaited rewards are here for you to collect. The universe is casting abundance upon you. I just saw the abode of Lakshmana just casting, like, it's like literally gold coins falling out of the sky for you, and it's going to come in different ways. It's just these golden opportunities for you to, you know, move yourself forward, knowing that you are under control of your fears, your demons, your past, and especially all of your negative emotions. And just one more thing, these people have tried to make you think or feel that you're the arrogant one, you're the spiritual narcissist, you're the actual narcissist, like you're, you know, cocky, you're egotistical, you're cold, you're cutthroat, like you fucking name it. You've been named that. And with you not reacting, you return to that place of consciousness of knowing, I don't have to prove myself. So a big round of applause for the collective that didn't take shit from nobody. You have closed out a cycle very successfully. If you have resonated with this message, it is behind you, and you are the Nataraja Shiva right now, where you are standing on Apasmara demon's root chakra, and you're wielding your internal fire, and the duduk drum and the axe. You turned it into, you know, you turn weapons into items and relics of pure force, and you are the master of the elements within and without. So just understand that you are this powerhouse. 4747, you're the light of the world. You light up people, and your mission has just officially started for real. Like, your learning course is over, your mission has just started. So congratulations, collective. Namaste and Soham. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I love you guys.